Watch and learn the content in today's video so you can actually fully understand the exact psychology you need to totally crush it as a graphic designer in 2026. Now, I'm sure you've noticed what I'm about to say. AI layouts in 2025 are almost just too perfect for their own good. Well, the ones that are decent anyway, because many aren't, let's face it. But they're clean, they're symmetrical, they're evenly spaced and polished. But here's the thing. Everything starts looking like a default template, which, to be fair, that's exactly what it is. AI makes layouts that are predictable in the same way a toaster makes toast. Reliable, consistent, and yet deeply uncreative. Now, this is completely fine for certain designers at certain levels, but the high-level designers out there, they didn't play this game, and they're the ones earn the most money. Here's the fun part. You, the human designer, are supposed to ruin that template style perfection. And I don't mean in some kind of chaotic way, more like in a bring it to life way. A real designer doesn't just apply micro-white space, hierarchy, and contrast like ingredients in a recipe. They use them like psychological levers to pull the viewer's attention where it needs to go. They introduce rhythm, tension, breathing room, or even a controlled imbalance to make the layout feel like a human design. Take this example here. You are looking at an AI-generated hero landing page for some perfume. Now, everything is perfectly aligned. The headline, the subheadline, the image, the button, they're all lined up like disciplined soldiers waiting for inspection. And yeah, it looks fine, right? It looks clean. But it also looks like this layout could belong to any website ever made by anyone, anywhere. It just simply looks boring, right? Now look at this design tuned by a designer that's human. Here, the designer has allowed the bottle to creep over the important part of the typography. There is a text logo subtly blended across the top right side of the background. And there are small details like this line that runs from the perfume bottle around to the pricing and other information. There are many small details and decisions that a human designer has made on this design. And sure, you can actually make this kind of design with AI in some respects anyway. But the thing is, the AI would need to be instructed what to do by a designer who has that kind of background skill and knowledge in the first place. And suddenly, the design feels like it was crafted and well thought out, not manufactured. As a viewer, your brain kind of relaxes. The layout has personality, confidence, and a hint of rebellion. All the things AI still cannot fake without accidentally ruining the entire composition. And that's one hugely important psychological mindset you need to have moving into 2026. That is, if you want to remove yourself from the AI slop level designers anyway. And sure, there is a market for designers who use AI to make designs, and there is a way to make a living from that. But on this channel, we want to move above that, beyond that, and actually earn more money than the designers who strictly rely on AI. The ability to take something perfectly predictable and then make it purposefully original will actually make your work a cut above the rest. And that's because AI can give you the clean version every time. But only you can give the human version. The version with intent, with targeted emotion, and with enough subtle imperfection to actually feel alive. But what I'm going to say right now is something you really want to write down somewhere. It is a nugget, a golden nugget of truth. The brands or businesses that hire actual human designers do so for their thinking and their psychological experience in the design space. This fact alone is what will separate you from AI designers and thus earn more money. The next psychological mindset you need as we head deeper into 2026 and beyond is what I call the why before what mindset. This one is the dividing line between a real designer and then someone who's just pressing buttons hoping to generate something half decent. If you ever want to tell the difference between a professional and a trend chaser, ask them one question. Why did you do this? Why did you do that? If they start sweating, stuttering, or quoting something they saw on Dribble, you already know the answer. A competent designer, or as I like to say, a dangerously creative designer, treats every element like it has to pay rent. If it doesn't serve a purpose, then 9 times out of 10, it's going to get evicted. None of this stuff like, but it looks cool, or but a prompt told me to do it. None of that stuff, and let me show you exactly what I mean. On screen, we have 2 posters around AI awareness. A fitting concept, I'm sure you agree. But notice on the left design how we have decoration around the edges. Sure, they are in line with the concept and the niche sector, that being tech and AI, but a lot of these motifs or graphics are just simply not necessary. We can go a step further and actually say that even the main graphic doesn't serve a good purpose here. And because yes, it is an AI face, but if we look at the other design, we can say a few things. Here, the main graphic is of a person, but importantly, notice how the style is hand-drawn and imperfect. This implies a human element, and it plays into the concept of human thinking or human creativity. It is also obviously the famous statue, the Thinker, but instead of the head, we have an actual off switch. The entire design is so very basic and so refined, yet the concept and the choices are so amazingly on point and strong, it doesn't need decoration or clutter to work. And the contrast between these 2 designs is really immense. This is the essence of the why before the what mindset. It's a decision that comes before the decoration or the design aspects. The meaning should come way before the aesthetic in your process. Otherwise, you're just throwing confetti at a layout and hoping it turns into a design somehow. And trust me, meaning is going to win every time if you want to play with the big dogs in this industry. Next is predictive empathy, designing not for what the viewer feels right now, but for what they will feel in a few seconds from now and into their day. It is emotional foresight, and this is one of the biggest skill sets or mindsets a designer can have moving in 2026, and it's something AI cannot touch at this point. Let's use a poster as the example here. So the original version is loud, the headline literally shouts. The imagery is dramatic, the colors are intense. It's the equivalent of someone grabbing your arm and saying, "Hey, look at me right now." It assumes the viewer is already convinced, already interested, already emotionally aligned. But the truth is, most people aren't. Now, if we remake the same poster using predictive empathy, things do have a different feel to it. You soften the tone of the headline while keeping its impact. We add some more breathing space onto the design, and we add one tiny emotional cue, maybe a gentle reassurance line or this iconic symbol of trust. And also notice how the color palette has morphed into something that is now more aligned with a reassuring emotional state. The shift is immediate. The viewer feels understood rather than pressured on the second design. And so as we spoke about earlier, every design choice should have a reason, but make sure one of those reasons is what emotions you want the viewer to walk away with. And just quickly, an interesting take on that first design. It could be seen that the emotional cues of angry bright colors and loud typography might be the chaos, and then the model is actually finding her peace within that chaos. But the point remains the same. Consider what you want or need the audience to feel after they leave your design. With your marketing mindset, you can literally make concepts and designs that are so immensely powerful, even designs that have no place in a marketing kind of niche or industry sector. And that's because graphic design is visual communication, and communication is a lot more effective when you understand emotion. Now let's talk about memory encoding. That is how to make a design stick in someone's mind long after they've scrolled past it. This is one of the biggest psychological gaps between high-level and low-level designers, and it's more important today and next year than ever before. AI can produce flawless visuals all day long, every single day, but as soon as you close your eyes and you blink, it's kind of evaporated from your memory. Now look at a human-designed poster like this high-fidelity example. It takes a human brain to come up with such a strong concept, one that is visually in line with the design's direction. The designer could have simply scattered the vinyl records randomly or even arranged them in a kind of standard grid layout, but instead they form a heart. 2 LPs and 1 album sleeve suddenly transformed into a metaphor. Music becomes emotion, records become romance. And this single conceptual twist actually lodges itself into memory because your brain recognizes the intention and the meaning. Or take this second poster, the empty clothes arranged in a chair. No person, no face, just a body-shaped absence. It instantly triggers a psychological reaction within the audience. It plays into the theme of depersonalization with imagery that feels eerie, clever, and impossible to forget. Your brain makes a pause. It tries to understand the story here, and that pause is the memory being formed. And this is a prime example of memory encoding, the art of giving the viewer something to resolve, something slightly off balance, something that whispers a question instead of handing out an answer. They're too safe, they're too clean, and they're too, well, unoriginal, basically. Across all of these principles, you are seeing one repeating truth. AI can generate images, but only humans can create meaning fully as a graphic designer. Sure, AI can create style, but only humans can understand psychology. AI can produce quality, but only humans can build connections. And the designers who lean into psychology will not be replaced. They will lead the people who rely on automation. AI doesn't really do that. It just makes or generates imagery or designs. Designers, the human designers, will make unforgettable designs. And in a world or an industry where we're drowning in kind of AI slop or just AI generated content, the ones that are original, metaphorical, a bit weird, they're the ones that will excel when done properly, of course. And if you actually did follow today's content and you've learned something interesting or you feel like you've gained something, hit that like button and also drop a comment down below. And if you want to continue your educational journey right here at Satori Graphics, just click a video on screen. But until next time guys, design your future today. Peace.